Hi, my second grade friends. For this video and for our last couple of projects, this is going to be just a practice time, the first thing we're going to do. Then we're going to do our final project. In this series of videos, we're going to learn to kind of add something to our skills of drawing. We know how to draw by constructing shapes. We know we start with the big shapes, then we go to the smaller shapes, then we add all the details to make our artwork. We know all those things about drawing, but the next step, the next thing to add is to look at how light affects an object. Everything you see because the light strikes the object and then comes back to your eyes. Your eyes read that light, and that's the information that they get. If an area is getting a lot of light, it'll look brighter, it'll look more colorful. The areas that are not getting as much light, they'll start to look a little darker. And if the area is not getting any light at all, it'll look completely black or cast in shadow. If we start to understand how the light works in our pictures, we can start to add the lighter side, the side that's getting a lot of light striking it. We can start to add the darker side, the side that's not getting as much light striking it, and then we can start to add in our shadows. If we do that, it'll make our pictures look a lot more realistic. I'm going to be drawing in Sketchpad. You could draw on Sketchpad, or you could draw on a sheet of paper with a pencil. Either way works just fine. We're just going to practice this week, just making some simple shapes and shading them. The first shape we're going to do is we're going to do a cube. And a cube is a three-dimensional shape. We're going to start with a square. So I'm going to, on my page, I'm going to draw a square. And you could go to the line thing to make it look really straight, but we don't need to do that. After I draw the square, I'll put little legs going out of it. It's going to look like a table that's fallen over. Now, all the legs should be going in the same direction. Don't make your square and have one leg go that way and one leg go that way and one leg go over that way. That's just not going to look right. You want them all to be going in the same directions. You want them all to go in the same directions. So I need to undo, erase, 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 and there we go. Make another one right here. And then after we do that, we're going to do what's called closing the shape. We're going to actually connect the ends. And again, mine are a little wiggly. To have the screen pointing at me, I have this on kind of a wiggly surface, so they're going to be a little shaky. That's okay. Maybe I'll put a couple smaller ones down here. There's one. Cha, 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 cha. And here's one right here. So after we're done drawing our shapes, to be able to do something with shading, we have to ask ourselves, where is the light coming from? Is it coming from above, shining down from overhead? Is it coming from the left side? Is it coming from the right side? Is it coming from down below? That will change things. Mine is coming from in front of me. My forehead gets a lot of light, but under my chin doesn't get as much light. You can see some of my hair looks much lighter where the light is striking it, where some of the hair looks darker because it's kind of in the back and the light's coming from the front. So in this first one here, I'm going to have the light, and you don't have to draw the light. I'm going to just draw a little sun to say, hey, the light's coming from there. When the light's coming from there, that side that's pointed at the light is going to be the light side. It's going to stay the color that it is. Now the other two sides are not getting as much light, so I'm going to color them a little darker. So I'm going to color this one a little darker. Now I can do it by coloring like that, or use a thicker line. Now I know my shape is closed. And then I'm going to make the other one back here. He's going to get even less light. So he's going to be even a little darker. There we go. Now the darkest area is going to be the shadow. Now the shadow is always going to be on the opposite side of the light side. So everything goes light side, dark side, and then shadow. The shadow is going to have the same shape as the object. So this object is a square shape. So the shadow is going to have a square shape. So I have my light side, my dark side, and my shadow. That's if it's going from the one side or a little bit more towards the top. If the light was in the front, let's say the light was right here in front of it and it's casting it that way, the front of it is going to be the light side. The top is going to be, excuse me, I don't know why I have just the ability to hit all the wrong buttons today. Top side is going to be a little darker. And then this one's getting the same amount of light as that one. So I'm not going to really make it any darker than that one. And then behind it is going to be the shadow. And again, the shadow is going to be dark. So the shadow is going right out the back. We won't be able to see part of it. It's kind of blocked. But we have our light side, we have our dark side, and we have our shadow. Same thing down here. Let's say the sun or the light source is coming from that side. So the side that's on the same side as the sun, that's going to be the light side. So this guy is going to be a little darker. And then this guy is going to be even a shade darker than that one. And then we have our shadow. It's going to be over there. Again, it's going to look like the cube. Let's say the same sun is doing both of these. So let's say it's hitting back there. That the sunlight's actually, yeah, I'm going to change where the sun is at. I'll make the sun actually kind of back here. Maybe it's just coming up on the horizon. And it's going to be striking that side that we can't see. So that's going to be the light side. So all three of these sides are going to be a little bit darker. So we're going to make that grayer. And we're going to make this one grayer even than that. And the one back here is going to get even darker. You can think of Star Wars when you're thinking of drawing these and shading them. You think of the light side, like, Yoda, Luke Skywalker. You can think of that, or Anakin Skywalker. You can think of the dark side, Darth Vader, is Anakin Skywalker. And then you can think of the shadow. The shadow is the darkest of the dark. That's like Emperor Palpatine there. It's just totally, totally dark. And the shadow is going to be the opposite side of where the sun is at. So it's going to be over there. So when doing a cube, it's very easy because the sides are split up, so they're easy to see. But you're going to you figure out where your sun is at or where your light is at. You do the light side and you do the dark sides, and then the shadow should be really, really dark. How do you make lighter and darker grays? It's all about the amount of pressure you put down with your pen. So if you press, really, really hard, you go back and forth a lot, you'll make it really dark. If you just lighten up on the pencil, you can also lighten it up. There are special pencils that have different amounts of light and dark to them. Some of them are blacker to make darker sides. Some of them are lighter to make the lighter sides when you're shading. There are also special markers that come in all different shades of gray. They're called Copic markers, and they allow you to do these light sides and dark sides. So now we did our screen here. I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go down to that thing that looks like a disk from an old floppy disk, and you guys have no clue what that is. I'm going to download that to JPEG so I can put it up.